first of all welcome the Governor, Deputy Governor, Chairman, members of the board, and colleagues. First thing I want to say is I think this is a very, very exciting moment for all of us. I think this isn't just something new, but it's something that actually I think gives everybody images where we want the future of Bank of Maldives to be. One of our priorities, in fact our key priority, is that we start to put the customers at the heart of what we do as a business. We are a service organisation, and without our customers we don't exist as an organisation. We're trying to achieve greater accessibility to customers, and in this branch we achieve a combination of two things. The first thing is that we will have in the area that I'm standing now a 24-hour self-service access area with ATMs and with self-service kiosks for those customers wishing to make deposits either in cash or by cheques. The second area of the building, which will be of an evening divided by a shutter but during working hours will be open, is a cashier-focused area with 10 cashiers, and this is an additional 10 cashiers within Malé. This is not removing cashier positions from anywhere else in Malé. This is an additional 10 positions on top of what we have at our existing 3 branches already. But what you will see here is something very different and very much a part of our customer focus is that every single member of staff in this branch is actually here to serve the customers. There is no back office, there is no processing behind the scenes. Everything you see here is customer service focused and directed directly towards the customer. I say this is exciting and this is the future because we see a lot of what we're doing here is not just about the BML Lite concept, but also about testing new things that we'd like to roll out in other branches across the country. So the kiosks, for example, we see as a concept that we can apply to other branches depending on the demand, and we will be reviewing and assessing that. There is a lot of technology that we've brought into the cashiering area where we want to really achieve a much faster, smoother transaction for the customer. And so, again, these processes, these pieces of technology are things that we will then look to move out across the country as we see how successful they can be. The other thing that I want to mention in terms of accessibility is around our opening hours. The branch will actually be open slightly different hours to the other branches in Malé. Our opening times will be from 10:30 through till 4 o'clock. The idea there is that we can catch people who perhaps have finished work, want to be able to do their banking, and historically perhaps haven't been able to do their banking. So BML within Malé now is essentially open as late as 4 o'clock. Another aspect, which is a very important aspect of achieving great customer service, is the fact that in calling this a BML Lite branch, that's to reflect the type of transactions that we do. This branch is really focused at the retail customer. It's not a business branch, it is a retail branch. It's here to allow customers to do the simple transactions, the quick transactions. So we don't expect to see customers queuing for 2 hours while somebody's paying in $1 million rupiah in cash or in coins. Those transactions will still be facilitated at our other branches. As I said before, this is in addition to the services that we have. So a retail branch employing new technology with 24-hour access to all of our customers. The other area that I really want to just focus on for a couple of minutes is actually, and I'm not going to name any names here because there's always a danger when you name names that you miss people out and upset them. But what I do want to say is thank you to the entire team BML for the hard work that they put in putting this together.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Can I begin by remarking about Shama's presentation? I thought it was very, very good. Thank you so much. I'd also like to, at the outset, thank Peter and Abdullah, the rest of the support members and executive staff for inviting me to this honor. I'm very, very pleased to be here. As we know, since 2007, we've been observing many, many changes in the world financial system. And these changes mainly emanated as a result of the huge repercussions that we've been experiencing since the banking crisis in 2007-2008. And as a result, the banking supervisors throughout the world have been working very, very tirelessly to change the rules of the game, to change the way banking is practiced, to make banking safer for the customers, for the owners, and for the stability of the financial system of the world itself and the individual countries itself. And being very, very intricately associated with the world, we are a very, very small economy, very, very open economy. We are very vulnerable to what's going on elsewhere in the world. Although our financial sector is not directly open to although our financial sector is not directly exposed to the entire global system, we are directly affected by what happens. As a result of our economic dependence on our major source market in tourism, i.e. the Western market. And as a result, we also had to come in with some regulatory introductions in 2009, 2010, and after that, we've been fine-tuning the regulations, and we acknowledge that the banks have been experiencing some teething problems, as sometimes Peter would put it, and we are recognizing this. In the Maldives, of course, our banking industry is very healthy. We are very happy about the performance of our banking industry. However, I think there is need for us to be very, very cautious, and we are being cautious. I acknowledge that banking is different from banking supervision. So to this extent, there will always be a certain, and I hope healthy, friction, if you like. And we will have to leave it there, and we will have to move forward. In 2011, MMA introduced a very, very important piece of instrument in our financial system, which is the Credit Information Bureau. We made announcements about this at the opening, but I would like to once again mention this here. What it does is it allows the banks to make credit decisions based on customers' borrowing history, repayment history, basically is the entire history with regard to these or their finances. And I think this is a very, very healthy system. And these kinds of systems are practiced all over the world. In Sri Lanka we have, in India we have several, in Sri Lanka we have one, in India we have several, in many, many countries we have these systems, the Credit Information Bureau. And I would like this to be more effective in terms of usage by financial institutions in the country. And one more thing, since the press are also here, I'd like to mention that this is something that is very much embedded in our Banking Act, which is that the Act allows the banks to lend up to 15% of their capital to any lender without any collateral. Now, if the banks demand any collateral, even up to 15% or 10% or whatever limit, it is not because of the unavailability of this provision in the MMA regulations and the supervisory regime, but it is because of the risks associated with recovery. And that is entirely out of MMA's hands and entirely out of the bank's hands. need to see some improvement in this regard. Of course, I should also mention something about our economy. We have been experiencing tremendous difficulties in our economy for the past several years, and we continue to experience difficulties. But we are hoping that in the years to come we will get over this situation and we will embark on a more stable path of progress economically. While I say this, I recognize that it is easier said than done when the main cause of our economic growth at this time is the runaway budget deficit. And as a person who is involved firsthand, I can assure the public, the business community, the press, and everybody else that the government is working very, very hard towards reducing this deficit in the next budget, and also working towards increasing, if at all possible, rationalizing some of the revenue measures that have been introduced in the recent few years, and also perhaps adding new revenue measures. And I think there is no easy way to come out of this situation. There are hard decisions that need to be made, and I think one of the things that, for example, the IMF, which is the macroeconomic supervisor of the world, if you like, advocates always is that when there is a government deficit, always go for expenditure cuts. And we are seeing all the time over the news how difficult it is for Spain, for example, for Greece first, and then Spain, Ireland, these countries which are in great difficulty as a result of the country deficit. Yesterday, the Greek government, the Greek parliament, agreed to a measure of austerity expenditure cuts, because without these measures, we are not going to get 17 billion pounds, $17 billion worth of support that the IMF jointly with the European Central Bank and the European Union are going to give them. So austerity is key. However, I have always observed, and I believe, that austerity is not the only thing that is there. I think individual commitment by institutions themselves towards giving an example, and individual commitments to reducing the deficit will go a long way. Austerity has its limits. When austerity is taken to a level where the public will no longer tolerate the problems, and we are seeing signs that in Greece, for example, the public is out in the streets every day. The police are having a hard time controlling the crowd, and I think we have to be very cautious also when we talk about austerity. There are limits. I think IMF, together with the leading countries of the world, are working very, very hard towards improving the world economy. And I think we will see fruits of this soon. Everybody now, I think, expects that together with China and India should lead in taking the world out of the difficulties, and I think China and India are doing very well in this regard. Although we see sometimes, we see signs that there are certain concerns in the economies of these two countries at times. In conclusion, I would like to announce today with real pleasure that BML has taken yet another initiative financial sector, which is to introduce banking services on Saturday. And BML has applied to MMA for approval of this, and I'm pleased to announce that we have approved this. So I hope this will be again another example for the rest of the institutions in this country to follow. BML has always impressed me. They have always taken the lead in introducing innovative technological services in our financial sector, and I'd like to encourage BML to keep doing so. MMA, for its part, will support BML in every way it can. And of course, it goes without saying, MMA will support all the banks in this country in ways we can. And because it is through a stable financial system that the economy progresses, and we need to have a very stable financial system. So with that, I'd like to end these remarks, and I have much pleasure in announcing the words that I declare open the BML light right here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for attending this function. I now invite everyone for a tour of the grounds, which will be followed by refreshments. Thank you.
That's okay.